Hey guys, it's Goosebumps Completionist, and today I'm bringing you another Goosebumps talk type of video. In today's video, we're going to be revisiting a topic that I covered about a year or two ago, covering the 6 R.L. Stine novellas. I made a video initially asking, are these 6 R.L. Stine novellas long lost Series 2000 books? And then I read them, I reviewed them, and I rated them, and then I came to my conclusions that I thought that maybe 2 were linked to Series 2000. 1 I couldn't really pinpoint. And 3 I thought were actually linked to another Lost Goosebumps book instead, Triple Header Book 3. And I left off in that first video declaring that these 3 I was almost certain were full books, possibly linked to Series 2000, which are Three Faces of Me, The Adventures of Shrinkman, which was already confirmed to be Series 2000 Book 26, and then Creatures from Beyond. And then I said that these 3 were short stories from Triple Header, and it's 13th Warning, Zombie Town, and My Alien Parents. Now, since that video, a lot of information has come out about these. Well, not a lot, but a telling amount that's kind of redirected my thoughts. And I've done, I want to say, about 40 hours of independent research into this. I've done all I can uncover, at least as of this point, and I feel like something about one of these might turn up any day. It just takes the right place at the right time, or maybe the right person to answer the questions. But information has changed, and I kind of want to start from a place where everybody knows, right? So let me just grab this real quick. So recently, around the end of 2021, I want to say, is when this book released, The Art of Goosebumps. I've been meaning to put a review and overview of this book out, and I will get to that very soon. And this came out, and when this book, arrived, everybody was elated to see the art of, Tim Jacobus and stuff. And I know Kid Leave Stoop did a video covering the Lost Goosebumps books, and what inspired him to make this was this excerpt in the back talking about the incredible shrinking fifth grader, which covers the fact from the wiki, and it says as it says on the wiki, in the year 2000. R.L. Stine published a one-off book called The Adventures of Shrinkman. The book was the first of 6 standalone novellas that Stine would publish between 2000 and 2001. On November 14, 2017, R.L. Stine confirmed on Twitter that the plot for The Adventures of Shrinkman had evolved from The Incredible Shrinking Fifth Grader. So this artwork here was originally going to be the artwork for The Incredible Shrinking Fifth Grader, and then The Art of Goosebumps includes some alternate art, and then the art for The Adventures of Shrinkman, because in spirit, The Adventures of Shrinkman really is an extra Series 2000 book. So, not only was this a more obscure, fact when I made the video, The Art of Goosebumps kind of cemented it into the mainstream, saying that, hey, look, Adventures of Shrinkman is the incredible shrinking fifth grader. But where I want to start with this video, because we're going to go down facets of Series 2000 books, Lost Triple Header books. We're going to go into a Lunchables contest. We're going to go into a couple things here. So, the first thing I want to bring up, all right, before we go any further, is that it says there was going to be another Goosebumps Series 2000 book, number 27, titled When the Snake Bites. Its release date was scheduled for March 2000. No artwork or story was created. So it's confirmed that a story was never made for this, and the artwork was never made. It was just a title, just a book title. Now, some have speculated, since it was just a book title, that maybe R.L. Stine, during the time of the novellas, around 2000 and 2001, turned that title, or maybe went back to that title and then made the story and then retitled it to the creatures from Beyond Beyond. And I said that in my past video, I am pretty confident, well, I was at the time pretty confident that the Creatures from Beyond Beyond had Series 2000 links. But there is a valid point I want to bring up, and that is the other theory people have is that, you know, when the snake bites lived on in Horrorland, and book number 9, Welcome to Camp Slither. And I'm more inclined to believe this theory these days, only because of the fact that, you know, Goosebumps, you know, I'm going to kind of tie in Goosebumps Gold real quick. You know, there was 3 books announced there: The Haunted Mask Lives, Slappy New Year, and Happy Holidays from Dead House. And in 2010, Stine did make a tweet telling a fan that The Haunted Mask Lives, you know, basically is the Scream of the Haunted Mask. And then, of course, Slappy New Year, we got that title in Horrorland as well. So I feel like if anything could be tied to Series 2000, Welcome to Camp Slither could be an option. You know, I think that this is probably more plausible than Creatures from Beyond Beyond, and I'll get into that in just a bit, because this one's the most perplexing out of all of these. So, touching on When the Snake Bites, I guess the first book that's, you know, we're going to be talking about. We already know that The Adventures of Shrinkman is Series 2000, book 26. If I had to guess, I would say that this has a better shot of being book 27, Welcome to Camp Slither. And we'll bring up this book back in a bit, okay? So, anywho, now that we got that out of the way. So, going back to that, now that Creatures from Beyond Beyond is kind of open game, I want to share with you some discoveries that I've mentioned in some videos, talking about a few books that have been confirmed to be previous stories that R.L. Stine did before Goosebumps ever existed. And the first one was actually discovered by Spongy444, who, you know, he's a writer and admin on the Goosebumps wiki. A lot of his writing was plagiarized and put into this book, so he's technically a published writer. But he discovered that this book, Three Faces of Me, which I thought was a full book and possibly linked to either Series 2000 or maybe a Nightmare Room type of, like, you know, launch idea. And he discovered that it goes back to Jovial Bob Stine in 1990 through this book, The Amazing Adventures of Me, Myself, and I. And these two books are identically the same book. So Stine re-released this book as this book, okay? Trying to pass it off like a new story. Now, another perplexing thing is that I found that My Alien Parents, this book that I thought was a short story, I was almost 100% confident that it was going to be linked to Triple Header Book 3, was actually a UK exclusive R.L. Stine story that he did for this series called A Twist in the Tale. And it's called You're Not My Parents. And this book was also released in 1990. So You're Not My Parents was turned into this and tried to be passed off like an original story. So we have 2 times that this has happened, okay? Since that last video I made, there's been 2 hard confirmed books in these novellas that they were previous books. So, going back to Creatures from Beyond Beyond, this one is the most perplexing one because, you know, I'm saving the other ones, Zombie Town and the 13th Warning, on the side for a reason, because I have a whole other theory with those. But for this book, for Creatures from Beyond Beyond, my theory is kind of, there's 4 possibilities here. First possibility is, of course, back to my original assumption that this could have Series 2000 links. It's not confirmed or denied, but this could have been something. that was supposed to be in the series. Or it could have been a Nightmare Room tester, or maybe this was intended for the Nightmare Room series. But I'm actually more inclined to believe the third or fourth options these days. The third option would be that R.L. Stine wrote this for the Novellas, which seems kind of out of character for, he had the story for Shrinkman laying around from Series 2000 that he already wrote, so he just republished that. He had 2 books that were obscure, that were close enough to horror, so he repurposed those and published those. But there is a possibility that he wrote this book for the Novellas. But my theory, where I'm leaning now with Creatures from Beyond, is that this book is probably a former kids' horror story that he did probably prior to Goosebumps, but nobody's discovered what book it is yet. And maybe he released it under an unknown ghostwriting name. Maybe he wrote it for an obscure series that nobody just knows about. Nobody's been able to find it on the internet. But I'm more inclined to believe that option over the other ones. My second favorite option probably would be that he wrote it for the Novellas, and then, a strong case for the Series 2000. But I honestly think that this story was made before Goosebumps made Welcome to Dead House. I can't prove that yet. I'm looking for information to see if I can kind of back this up, and I've been trying to dig down rabbit holes. But I'm hoping I can find something on this one, because I feel like once I crack this one, the other two would be easy to solve. So this one's still an open case here. But there's also another way this book could have made it out into people's hands, and now we're getting into a good bulk of this video. And what I want to talk about is a contest from 1998. Okay, this contest was put on by Lunchables, and I have a photo here of it. So this contest right here, and I'm going to read you the stipulations. Get your hands on a chance to win a Goosebumps Series 2000 trip. Meet R.L. Stine and help write a Goosebumps Series 2000 book. So, there's a contest done by Lunchables where you can submit whatever you needed to submit. And I think it was 3 grand prize winners. I have an article here that I will show you as well that kind of talks about this contest. But essentially, there was 3 grand prize winners that got to go to New York to help R.L. Stine himself write a Goosebumps Series 2000 book. Now, that book has been unconfirmed. People have thrown out I'm Your Evil Twin. I know Kids Leave Stoop put that in his video, and I know it was on Reddit as well. But I'm just not sure that that's the book. I do have a theory on which one it is, like pretty hard. But nonetheless, the more interesting aspect to this contest was not that R.L. Stine had 3 kids help him write a Goosebumps Series 2000 book. So the winner gets a haunted limo ride and a $2,000 shopping spree. You could also win a special edition R.L. Stine short story. So, when I saw that, I was like, let me try to find some more information. And I found this article here. And the article says this. This was from a newspaper. I forget what it is. I clipped it from newspapers.com back when I did like a free trial. But essentially reads, 2,000 first prize winners will receive a special edition, never before published R.L. Stine short story, 4 books from the Goosebumps Series 2000, membership to the Goosebumps Fan Club 2000, and a Goosebumps 2000 book safe designed especially for the Lunchables promotion. So, I'm wondering if the story came in the Goosebumps 2000 book safe. I'm not sure. But essentially, it says here, never before published R.L. Stine short story. Okay? So it made me think back to what I said about my thoughts that, at least we have these 2 left. These 2 were among triple header. Now, if there was stories unpublished, this contest would have ended sometime in September of 1998. So that means that I think Triple Header 3 was canceled probably sometime in like around June or July 1998, I would say. Because if you look at the release schedule of Triple Header Book 2, I'm assuming that Triple Header Book 3 would have released in September or October. Now, since Scholastic and Lunchables are facilitating the contest and they're handing out an unpublished R.L. Stine story, it would make me think that even if one of these were given away as prizes, like 13th Warning or Zombie Town, they were released under a different name that maybe Scholastic knew about, or maybe Parachute put on the printing responsibilities, as we saw with the first editions of these. Parachute Press took them to production. So, maybe, just maybe, Parachute made these special edition R.L. Stine stories, made about 2,000 of them, and we just never have seen a picture of them. And what story it is, it's a crapshoot. Honestly, I want to put it past me if Creatures from Beyond could have been a story that was introduced in there as well. So any of these are possibilities. But what I'm trying to get at is that he would have had unpublished stories from Triple Header Book 3 laying around. So if there were any short stories that Stine would have given away in that promotion, it would have been Lost Triple Header Book 3 stories. Now, going back to Creatures from Beyond, I didn't bring this up in my main theories, but there is a possibility, I think it is a long shot, that at one point, maybe Creatures from Beyond, the 13th Warning, and Zombie Town were Triple Header Book 3, and during the Novellas Stine, since there's a halfway point that kind of, tonally changes the book into a totally different direction, maybe the halfway point is where the original short story ended. And if you're thinking in that logic, then yeah, Creatures from Beyond could have been at one point part of this little Triple Header Book 3. But I'm more inclined to believe, based on like the terminology used, I'm thinking that this has more Jovial Bob roots, and maybe he's trying to blend the gap between Jovial Bob and R.L. Stine when he started getting into horror. So I've kind of snubbed this book off. But going back to Triple Header Book 3, I'm still confident that these two are linked. But what's the third story? And I have a better answer for you. Since it was, September 1998 when this contest ended, maybe one of the short stories were given out as like a tester, and maybe Stine saw the feedback and turned it in, one of those unpublished stories from the canceled Triple Header Book 3 into a Series 2000 book. And what I'm about to say kind of coincides with this cover here, cover art by Tim Jacobus. This is Triple Header Book 3's cover art that was intended for the book. And as you can see, you see Lefty, Righty, and Slim, the Triple Header mascots, sitting in a car. Looks like an orange Corvette, and it has headlights with eyes. Looks like a snake car. It looks creepy. A snake car. Maybe a haunted car, possessed car, monster car, whatever. And it's orange in color. Well, the car aspect kind of caught my eye. And I'm thinking, why a car? Because the other two covers just show them standing or sitting together. They're not really doing anything. And I'm like, maybe they wanted to purposely, spice up the cover. Maybe they thought that it would help sales if they had better covers. So, thinking about the contest, I'm looking at the cover, and I get this idea that maybe, just maybe, and I'll hold this up. I got the reprint out, but the haunted car, right? The car doesn't look exactly, it's not described with the same color as this cover here, but that's stuff that Stine could have changed to morph into a story. I'm thinking that the haunted car could have been in short story form around that time before it was turned into a full book, and maybe just maybe, and this can be debunked at any point. This is just a theory, y'all. I'm not trying to push this as fact. I'm kind of hoping that one of the contest winners will come forward and say what story was included. But I have this suspicion that the haunted car was that short story. And Stine may have saw some of the contest winners read the story. You know, I'm guessing the first place winners that came to help him write the Series 2000 book, you know, this could possibly be the book they helped write through the short story prize that was unpublished. It would just make a lot of sense. You know, by the time the kids help write it, you got to go through editing. You got to go through, you know, sending it to the publisher. They got to send it back, finalize it. They got to send it to the printers, lay out the pages, figure out how many page numbers it's going to be, figure out what they're going to advertise, figure out the next book. They got to figure out the ads, all that. It takes a lot. It takes a while to get that planned. My theory has kind of evolved into this completely, is that The Haunted Car was a short story that was unpublished because it was originally a part of Triple Header Book 3 with these two, right? And when the contest came out, they gave 2,000 of these special edition Haunted Car short stories, potentially, to kids. And then the winners looked at the short story, and R.L. Stine said, okay, help me add on to this and make it a full book. That's my theory. It makes a lot of sense. If you look at the cover of Triple Header Book 3, it just all fits together perfectly. So, going back to the novellas, I know I'm talking about the novellas. I'm at a hard confident that these, well, not a hard confident, but a good strong suspicion that this was originally supposed to be Triple Header Book 3. The Haunted Car, The 13th Warning, and Zombie Town. So, with that being said, my final thoughts on the novellas now is that the reason why I wanted to bring this back up is that Zombie Town, in case you didn't know, is getting a movie, right? And I just want to know the truth behind these, because these other ones have been confirmed to be previous books. And then, you know, Shrink Man has been confirmed to be Series 2000 Book 26. And we still don't know the true answer behind Creatures from Beyond Beyond, or The 13th Warning. Oh, I got that backwards. Or The 13th Warning, or Zombie Town. We don't know the truth behind these. And, like I said, I'm working to try to figure out these answers. But as it sits, I think I have a plausible theory, and I'll kind of run it back one last time so you all understand. So, we already know 1 out of the 6 is confirmed to be Series 2000 Book 26, right? And then we know Three Faces of Me is actually a Jovial Bob Stine book re-released as Three Faces of Me. And My Alien Parents is a R.L. Stine book from the UK re-released as My Alien Parents. So, we know 3 out of the 6 what they are. Like I said about Creatures from Beyond Beyond, there's possibilities that this could be When the Snake Bites from Series 2000 Book 27, but I'm more inclined now to believe that that is Welcome to Camp Slither. And then there are possibilities that this has Series 2000 links. It could be linked to Nightmare Room. It possibly could be part of Triple Header Book 3, but I'm more inclined to believe that Stine either wrote this for the novellas, but my main idea is that this is actually a precursor to Goosebumps solo book that Stine made that we just haven't discovered yet. That's my suspicion. And then, for the final 2 that need to be solved, I'm pretty sure that these are part of Triple Header Book 3. And if you need an answer for the 3rd story, it's The Haunted Car. And kind of like a bonus for the Lunchables contest, if I had any suspicion of what story was given out in that contest, it was a Haunted Car short story version that was supposed to be in Triple Header Book 3. And the contest winners who helped R.L. Stine write a full book actually helped him write this. and turn that short story into a full book. That's just my theory. Okay, and I'm going to leave it out there. But that's where I stand with the novellas now. And want to shout out all the folks who asked me for a follow-up for this. You know who you are. Thank you. It was fun talking about this. And yeah, let me know down in the comment section your thoughts about what I just shared. What do you think about the possibility of, potentially solving these? And what do you think about the R.L. Stine Zombie Town movie coming out? Do you think that that's a random choice for a movie? Let me know just any general thoughts you have down in the comment section. I love talking about this stuff, and I'll see you next time.